Welcome back. Today, we are going to examine the lifestyle, culture, and social structures of the ethnic groups living in Bangladesh. This slide breaks down the core terminology. The Bengali term Nrigosti literally translates to a human social group. In sociology, we use this term to describe specific communities of people who share distinct features, like a unique language, a shared culture, and distinct social customs that separate them from the broader population. Looking at the academic definitions on screen from sociologists like Schaefer and Haney Lopez, we see how the concept of race is defined. They point out that a race is a group of people separated from others based on physical differences. Interestingly, Haney Lopez notes that these differences can be rooted in actual biological traits, or they can be socially constructed categories. Shepard and Tyler add an important layer to this definition. As their quotes show, these distinct physical characteristics are hereditary. They are traits passed down biologically from one generation to the next, creating a recognizable lineage. When we combine these ideas, an ethnic group is a community bound together by inherited physical traits and a shared cultural identity. This framework allows multiple unique groups to maintain their distinctiveness while coexisting within a single nation like Bangladesh. This table lists the approximate 27 distinct ethnic groups recognized in Bangladesh. Among them, the Chakma and the Marma represent the largest populations. If we plot their populations on a map, a clear pattern emerges. The vast majority of these ethnic groups do not live in the Central Plains. Instead, they reside in the border districts along the northwest, northeast, and southeast edges of the country. Zooming in on the northern border, in Rajshahi and Rangpur divisions, you'll find communities like the Santal, Oraon, Munda, and Kol. Moving eastward to Mymensingh and Sylhet, the map highlights settlements of the Garo, Hajong, Khasi, and Manipuri. Moving south to the Chittagong Hill Tracts, we find the country's most concentrated and diverse cultural hub. This detailed map shows how districts like Rangamati, Khagrachari, and Bandarban serve as home to the Chakma, Tripura, Marma, Mro, and several others. The geography of these areas is important. The physical isolation provided by the hills and border forests allowed these diverse groups to sustain their unique cultural identities over centuries. Let's examine the Chakma people. This slide traces their historical origins back to Mongolian ancestry. They arrived in the Chittagong region around the 15th century and are even documented as a distinct kingdom in early Portuguese maps. This map shows their current distribution. Their highest numbers are concentrated in Rangamati, Khagrachari, and Bandarban, but their diaspora extends across borders. There are Chakma populations in Indian states like Mizoram, Tripura, and Arunachal, and a branch in Myanmar known as the Dainak. This slide outlines their social framework. The Chakma maintain a strict patrilineal structure, where the father is head of the family and property descends through the male line. They also follow rigid marriage customs, for 7 generations. Culturally, their most significant event is the 3-day Biju festival, celebrated around the Bengali New Year. Furthermore, as shown on the right, they possess their own distinct language and script, which belongs to the Indo-European language family. Through a highly structured patriarchal society and a strong linguistic heritage, the Chakma have maintained their core identity despite living alongside the mainstream Bengali population. Next, we look at the Garo people. As noted here, their ancient roots connect back to Tibet and Mongolia. Interestingly, within their own community, they prefer to identify as Achik, which translates to people of the mountains. This graphic highlights their primary settlements. In Bangladesh, they are primarily located in Mymensingh, Netrokona, Sherpur, Tangail, and Ghazipur. However, their largest population center sits just across the border in the Meghalaya Hills of India. Historically, the Garo relied on jhum, or slash-and-burn terraced cultivation, as their primary agricultural method in the hills. Today, many have transitioned into formal education and modern professions, adapting their livelihood while keeping their community ties. The Garo identity is intrinsically tied to the geography of the hills and forests. From their self-given name to their historical methods of survival, their culture is a direct reflection of their environment. Let's test your retention on a few key concepts. First, based on the sociological definitions we discussed, what exactly does the term race or ethnic group refer to? The correct answer is B. It refers to a distinct human group separated from others based on physical characteristics. Next question. Where is the ancestral home of the Chakma people traditionally believed to be? As indicated here, it is the Arakan Hills. Finally, what name do the Garo people use to identify themselves? They call themselves Achik, meaning the people of the mountains. Thank you for joining this session. In our next episode, we will cover the social structures and lifestyles of the remaining ethnic groups in Bangladesh. Recognizing the deep historical roots, inherited physical traits, and specific cultural practices of these groups allows us to properly understand the diverse social fabric of Bangladesh. See you in the next lesson.